Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's Jamie and welcome to the channel Thrift-Onfire. Today is going to be a what sold video. What sold for me recently on eBay and Poshmark. But before we get into the what solds, I want to have a conversation with you guys. And it's going to revolve around this. When does inventory become a death pile? Now, is it after you've had something for 30 days and you have not listed it? What about 6 months and you have not listed it? What about a year and you have not listed it? I don't think that's uncommon, to be honest. However, for me personally, I try to list as I pick things up. Here's an example. Last week, you've seen me on the channel pick up a Sum 41 hockey jersey and a Pepsi 2009 throwback, or not throwback jersey, like I guess 2009 Pepsi retro Stanley Cup jersey. It's technically, I guess, would that not be vintage? I don't think that's vintage yet. I think. But anyway, regardless, it's a pretty old jersey. 2009 is old enough, right? So Sum 41 jersey, I had that listed in about 2 days. I literally had to cut the Goodwill tag off of it, flat lay on the ground, took some pictures, got it listed with help of FlowLister, AI listing tool, got it listed pretty quickly. Very happy with how that turned out. The other jersey, I did need to wash it. It has a few little holes in it, so I had to take a couple extra pictures. I think I wound up hang drying it because it has like a patched front, so I didn't want to ruin anything. And then I think I fluffed it up in the dryer before I took pictures. It took me about 5 days to get that one listed, but I got those ones listed within less than a week, okay? That's typically my goal when I pick things up, that they should be listed within a week of picking them up. A lot of times it's within a couple of days or the next day, especially if I'm picking things up from thrift stores, garage sales, things that I don't need to really clean that much get listed much quicker. If we're talking about a big bulk buy, like the NASCAR buy, for instance, that was a huge buy for me, right? I would say I've listed about 80% of the NASCAR buy, but that's probably 6 months plus now. So I still have things in my death pile from the NASCAR buy that I have not listed. And since then, I've bought, another Cal buy, I think. I bought a video game buyout from Scott. I just bought some more stuff from Scott. You guys just see me buy cameras and all that train stuff in the last video. From Scott, I probably have already listed about 60% of the stuff that I bought from him less than a week ago. The stuff that I have left needs to be tested and cleaned up a little bit more. I will get to that probably next week. Let's see, before that, the video game buy, that's way harder. Video game buy requires a lot more cleaning and testing. I'm maybe about halfway through that. I thought in the month of May when I purchased it, I would get through it all in May. It has not happened because it's a lot more work, okay? So to sit down and test things and clean them, it takes more time. That stuff has been selling for good money. You'll see stuff, from week to week sell from that video game buy. So it's good stuff to have. It just takes longer to list it, and that's sort of, it's not that I necessarily want to get away from stuff like that because there's good value in that, but it definitely is more time consuming. So it's a bigger time suck. And I think when I was talking about feeling like I don't have enough time, I think that's part of it, that I had to clean up so much inventory in the last week or so trying to get it listed. So, the less you have to clean up, the better. The easier things are to list, the better. If you just have something, this is just my opinion, if you have something that you can purchase, take photos and list without having to clean it, it is a lot better. And mentally it's less draining for me personally, right? What else? I don't know. I do think though, like for the most part, like I said, when it comes to listing and not creating a death pile, I really do try not to create one. But like at what point do you decide what to do with your death pile? We've seen Scott now. Scott's circumstance was, now he's going back into the workforce, so he's getting a full-time job. He has all this stuff, and I'm sure he feels like it's probably going to sit. And I really do think he enjoys sourcing, and he's obviously very active with his booth. He still does sell on eBay, but he has all this stuff, and he's just looking for a new way to sell it. So if you get to the point where you just have a huge death pile, I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to liquidate it to another reseller if you can. Maybe you have a big garage sale. I know Scott said he's had a couple of big garage sales and done the same sort of thing to try to move stuff out. I don't think there's a problem with that. I think getting your money back out of things, if you clearly haven't listed it within a year, maybe you should look for alternatives if you're not going to list it on eBay, because now you're just sitting on all this, unless something like another pandemic comes along where you can't source, which was awful. you know, I can't see too many situations arising that you just need, you know, a year's worth of inventory in your death pile. But you know, everybody's different. Some people maybe like that. Maybe you have this space and you can hoard it in like an outbuilding or something. I don't know. I don't know everybody's, you know, situation. But in my opinion, I think you should try to get things listed as you're buying them, if it is at all possible. For me, I try to tell myself, you know, if I'm going to go out and source and I have a bunch of stuff, I need to be really picky about what I'm picking up. It's got to be worth it. It's got to be something I'm willing to list right away. Yeah. So, you know, like I said, if you have an opinion about this, leave it in the comments down below. Before we get into the what solds, I do want to talk about Sidekick tools. I said in the last video I was going to tell you guys how I have mine actually set up, so I'm gonna break it down a little bit and show you some of the settings I'm using in Sidekick tools. So we're in Sidekick tools now. I'm going to show you how I have my sharing set up currently. Okay, so I have self-share, community share, party share, and share back all on. I also have my share speed set to medium. I'll jump in here for a second. You can go slower if you have a smaller closet, or if you have a really big closet, you can go to fast. I just like medium. I think that's enough to share, honestly. I don't need to be too aggressive with it, so that's kind of where I like to be. This is another great one here. Offers. This is probably the most important part. Like, sharing's important, don't get me wrong, but offers is where you're going to actually make money. So bundles to offer to liker, bundles, offers to likers is off because I think you can only have one on. So I have offers to likers on. So I automatically send offers out on bundles, but I let Sidekick tools do it this way. So listing discount is 15%. You can play with that number back and forth any way you want. A seller discount, I do not offer one, but you can do free, $6.99, $9.99. When you set a shipping discount, you have to pay the difference for the shipping. So I don't do that. And that's pretty much all I have set up here. You could set up at the bottom counter offers. I used to have that on, but now I don't. I just go into my offers and check it out. Those are the big things here. So auto relist, I do have this set up as well. So I'm doing relisting items, duplicate items. So if you accidentally have duplicate items because of relisting or because of any other reason, it will remove them, or at least tell you that you should be removing them. Maximum days of listing, 60 days. I'm relisting 20 items a day on Poshmark. Yeah, I think these are the important ones, really. There are more settings you can do. I still use this, smart auctions as well. You can see tonight I have a clothing auction, vintage clothing. I usually recycle the same 3 auctions over and over, honestly. You could set up new auctions, but really for me, it's to get the algorithm moving. That's why I'm still running these silent auctions. So that's how I have my Sidekick tool set up for Poshmark, and it works for me. If you want to give it a try, my link's in the description down below. All right, let's talk about the sales. Here's a Poshmark sale, Survivor Season 40 t-shirt. I think this is a pretty cool t-shirt. I wound up getting $40 for this. Probably had it about 6 months to a year. So I've had it a while, but I did wind up getting $40 for this. Nintendo Wii, this is a set of 2 nunchucks, 2 controllers. We got $55. This would have came from the Scott video game buy here. Pokeroo. I think this is awesome. I wound up finding this at Goodwill quite a long time ago. I was trying to get a lot more money. It is a puppet. It is really cool. It's from the 90s, from TVO, Polka Dot Door. As a kid, I really love this show, honestly. 60 bucks we got for this guy. Trying to get more. I'm happy with $60 for old Pokeroo for sure. Verbatim CDs. I actually had this set aside in my death pile. I don't know why it was not listed on eBay. We're talking about death piles earlier. I listed these CDs, CD minus R, I guess. It's a pack of 100. I listed them for $27.99 and they sold within a day. So that was a really quick sale. Infamous PS3. This is, I think, all of them in this collection. Anyway, $40 for this one for a PlayStation 3 game. I think that's pretty good, 40 bucks. It is the collection. Yeah, I think it's all the games. 15-inch A&W root beer plush, another plush. So we had the Pokeroo. Now we have the A&W bear. This one, not quite as good, $23.74. I think that was an offer. I think this also came from the NASCAR buy, if I'm remembering right. This is a Nintendo 64 power supply. I just zoomed in on that for some reason. $20 for this. Interesting fact, I talk about this on the Scott Sell Stuff show. Or sorry, on Reseller Evolution on Scott and Carl's podcast. I got this from Scott from the last video game buy. I actually sold this on Poshmark, but did not have it, and wound up getting one of these power supplies from Scott. in that bulk buy. And that kind of happened after. So I brought everything home, realized I sold this, and then actually had to ship the one I got out from Scott. I wind up talking about that in the episode. So if you take a listen to the episode, you'll hear the full conversation on what happened there. So now we're getting into some better ones. NASCAR jacket. This is a Ricky Rudd NASCAR jacket. We got $113.05. I've sold through a bunch of these. I don't have that many in here. I've sold probably about 5 of them in my antique booth as well. You know, it's took a while to sell through these jackets, but we've done well with them for sure. PlayStation 2 Slim. The NASCAR jackets also came from the NASCAR buy. I'm sure you guys put 2 and 2 together if you've been watching the channel. If you haven't been watching the channel, the NASCAR jackets came from a huge NASCAR bulk buy. This came from a recent buy from Scott, video game buy. So this was a Sony PS2 Slim with one controller, power supply, and I think like the RCA hookups here. $115. I just picked up 2 more of these from him, but I think they are the white ones instead of black. I think it's these ones. It could be a different version, but it's something very similar. So I've got more of these. I think in this lot, 3 of them were parts only. They did not work, but I think I had 2 that did work, and here's one of them right here for $115. These little PS2 Slims, if you can get them cheap enough or for the right price, they'll sell for good money. Finishing it out with another NASCAR jacket. Yeah, I don't know. When it rains, it pours NASCAR, apparently. And it seems like when a die-cast sells, I sell multiple. When jackets sell, fingers crossed, we sell multiple. And we did here. This was, like I said, Tony Stewart, Old Spice Office Depot Y2K jersey. Again, same price point, $113.15. We're running sales on eBay these days. We're getting sales out the door, or at least trying. But that's what's sold recently. So we are going to have a fail of the week and find of the week. The fail of the week, though, I've already told you about. It was the Nintendo 64 power supply that I sold on Poshmark, but I had already sold it months before, I believe, on eBay. Okay, so this one luckily worked out because I did buy that. The last buy that I made from Scott with the cameras, all the train stuff, had 2 Nintendo 64s and 1 power supply. I was able to test out the 2 Nintendos that I got from Scott and then sell, or well, I already sold the power supply, I didn't have it. Then take that power supply and ship it out, okay? So now I have 2 console-only Nintendo 64s. One I've cleaned up and listed already. The other one needs more cleaning, but it works. So that's a good thing for sure. Now, my find of the week, this is a good one because I found it in my own death pile, okay? So if we take a look at all these boxes of cards, this is all my listed inventory of hockey cards. These are not listed. These are not listed. So every once in a while, I will grab a handful of stuff and dig through. Like right now, I'm going through these like Dazzler cards or whatever they're called. Or what are these ones? A Pixel, actually, maybe? What are these actually called? It's a OPC Platinum Violet Pixel, I guess is what this is. None of these are crazy good. I just went through a bunch of rookie cards like that as well. They're like $2-3, sometimes less than that. But I went through a handful of other cards. This was from one of the first card buys that I made, one of the big bulk card buys. And I'm like, why is this card just in here? Because I had asked, you know, the guy basically got rid of all the low value stuff and he just kept the better stuff for me. So I'm going through and this card's in here. You can see I had listed it for $75. It's Jordan, I think, Binghamton. He's a goalie. That's about as much as I know about him, honestly. 2019 OPC Stanley Cup final moments. These cards are all listed really high, like $50 to $75. I scanned this, ran it through ChatGPT, and Chat said, yeah, this is just like a $2 card. Nothing special. And I'm like, okay. So I searched it on eBay. I couldn't find the exact card, but I found similar ones from the same series. And I think they were like a limited like insert or something like that. So they're not numbered, they're not autographed, they're not anything like that, but I do think they were just like a limited number release. And all the ones that are on eBay anyway are listed pretty high. So I said, hey, like, why are these other ones listed high then? And Chat said, not all cards are the same, Jamie. Basically, this is not a valuable card. I said, well, I'm just going to list this one high anyway, because I don't see a reason why I wouldn't. We'll see what happens. So I did, listed it for $75. And my find of the week, which is coming from my death pile, it's been sitting here for over a year, sold same day. Somebody offered me $50, and I said, yep. And of course, I took a screenshot of the sale, went back to ChatGPT and said, hey, look at this. This sold really quick for $50. And it changed its tune really quick and told me, oh, I think this is maybe limited, blah, 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 blah. It told me all the reasons why this was a great find. Well, you just told me to sell it for $2 a minute ago. So me and ChatGPT get into arguments every once in a while. You can't always trust, what AI tells you, but it's a really good research tool nonetheless. So, it's probably helped me more times than it hurt me, but you can't believe everything it says. I'm going to tell you that for sure. So I think that's a pretty cool find, especially on my own death pile. When I flipped around here, maybe you've seen this on the ground. I honestly don't remember how much I've told you guys about this. This is a heat press. It's an automatic heat press to do t-shirts and things like that. Somewhere right here, I have a roll of these here. You can see this is DTF, the direct to fabric. Bought these from a company online, and they come in a roll like that. Okay, here's a blank tote bag. I essentially cut that out, place it on the tote bag, put it in the heat press, and it comes out looking like this. Okay, so I'll just lay it flat on my chair here so you can see. So here's my Tilsonburg print. We obviously did posters, and we've done well with the posters in my booth. I showed a bunch of ones that I made the other day on, I think on Instagram or something like that, maybe even Facebook. I'm gonna try to sell them for like $20, I guess, something like that. The tote bags themselves cost me like $2.20. They can get cheaper if you buy more. Not a lot cheaper, but they can get a little bit cheaper for sure. I didn't have to buy a lot even to get that price down. The actual transfers, these ones, I'm gonna say cost around $4. That's about what it cost me. So I'm not into a lot of money. I was into it quite a bit of aggravation, trying to figure out how to make everything work. I followed the instructions. It didn't go well the first couple of times. I think I ruined 2 transfers before I figured it out, but I think I've got it down now. I've made some other ones, some local ones, like just a Tilsonburg one. I'll try to throw them up on screen now. One made for our marketplace, and like the Stomping Tom ones and stuff like that, right? So pretty cool. Just something new that I've been getting into. And I thought I'd share with you guys as, the things laying here on the floor. I'm going to make some t-shirts. I might try to make some other things with it as well. There's all sorts of things I could make, with this type of technology, with the heat press. Hats is another thing I'd have to get there's like a little attachment you can buy for this thing that does hats, but I don't know, just a fun toy for me to play around with. I also was on just the other day, I mentioned it earlier, I was on Reseller Evolution.
Welcome to another episode of Reseller Evolution. I'm Scott.
I'm Carl.
I'm Jamie.
Jamie's back.
Yeah. If you want to catch that, it should be out this weekend. We talk all kinds of things. This was a long one. I think it went 2.5 hours, something like that. It was a good one, though. I always enjoy talking to those guys. It's a lot of fun. Before we get out of here today, we should thank channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, you can go to my YouTube homepage, sign up directly from there. And, I appreciate it for sure. I appreciate all you guys watching. If you like videos like this one, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe for more content, and we'll see you guys soon.